Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Welcome if this is your first time here. So this is going to be your weekly energy reading, and this will be from Sunday to Sunday. So what is that? May 5th to the 12th, I believe. So basically I'll just be giving you incoming energy, some of the things that you may need to avoid, and also some things that you can look forward to in this upcoming week. So the first card that came out is the King of Wands, followed by the Queen of Cups and the Strength card. So to me, it looks like this week is definitely going to be about action, taking action towards something that you have possibly been putting off, especially with the Ace of Wands coming right underneath it. I feel like basically what that's saying is that some of you are supposed to be taking action towards something and working on something and being very focused on it, but you've been feeling kind of uninspired, or you just kind of been feeling like you don't feel like it. So to me, it's kind of like the energy of someone who is like, okay, I know I have to get this done, but I'm gonna get up and get it done when I feel like it, and then they never end up getting it done. Does that make sense? It's like sometimes you have to take action even when you're feeling uninspired, because sometimes inspiration strikes you after you've already taken action. So take the action first, and then the inspiration will come to you. Don't wait until you feel like doing something to complete a task that you know is going to be beneficial for you. Also, with the Queen of Cups being here, I do feel like a lot of you are needing to emotionally connect to something this week. So this could be in relation to whatever this task is or this goal. It could be in relation to that, meaning that you feel uninspired and you don't feel like moving because you don't have an emotional connection to what it is that you're supposed to be doing. So that's why a lot of people will label themselves as lazy, or other people will label them lazy because they don't take any action, they don't do anything. But really, they're not necessarily lazy. It's just that they are very emotionally disconnected from the thing they're supposed to be doing. So sometimes you have to emotionally connect to the task, find a reason for doing it that you feel emotionally strong about. So for example, my YouTube channel, sometimes I don't feel like doing it, so I have to connect to the emotion behind it, meaning that I have to tell myself, okay, your subscribers really want you to offer your guidance or offer your knowledge, and it's going to help people have a better day or a better week. It's going to improve their quality of life in some way. So why not just get up and do it? You see what I'm saying? So then I have an emotional connection to the task at hand, and then it kind of motivates me to get up and do it. See what I'm saying? But also with this Queen of Cups and this King of Wands here, unfortunately, I am picking up some type of love energy. And I say unfortunately because I know it's like sometimes these readings can just strictly turn into romantic readings. So I try to make them more broad, but sometimes the romance just pops up. I mean, love and romance, friendships, family, and things like that are very important parts of our lives. So I'm not really surprised that they pop up so often. It's not, life is not just us living in a world alone. We do have to interact with people. So other people's energy will show up in these readings often because of that fact. So with the King of Wands and the Queen of Cups being here, some of you, if you are this Queen of Cups person, you could be really, really thinking about someone from your past who has this King of Wands energy. And I say that because the King of Wands, like, their back is turned, the Queen of Cups is facing their back. So if you are the Queen of Wands energy, this could be someone from your past or present that you feel very strongly towards, but you could be feeling like they're giving you the cold shoulder, or that they're not giving you the attention and time that you want. And it could really just start to weigh on you this upcoming week. Like I said, this could be present or it could be past energy that you're thinking about. But I feel like with the Strength card being here in reverse, a situation like that is going to weigh on you this week, and you're going to really need to, what am I hearing? I hear you really need to harness any strength that you have in order to kind of pick yourself up and keep going. Because I feel like this situation, I think it could be a long-term situation. Only because, like, I feel with the Strength card being here, I feel like exhaustion, as if it's been going on for a long time. So I don't think this is like a new situation. Let me pull one more for this King of Wands. Actually, no, I'm going to pull for the Strength card. Knight of Swords. Yeah, some of you could be very tempted to communicate this week, especially if this is like someone from your past, like I said, who you were giving a lot of love to, and they were kind of like egotistical, focused on themselves or focused on other things. You may have the desire to speak to them this week, even if you've been in no contact with them. And I'm thinking that you shouldn't. Honestly, that's what I'm feeling, that there's really no need to reach out to a person who has that type of energy, because I feel like it just kind of fuels them. Like, they like when you reach out and try to talk to them and things like that, because I just get ego from that King of Wands, just heavy ego. So for those of you who this doesn't apply to you, like for those of you who you're not going to be tempted to reach out, I feel like you are going to have a conversation with them. So I think that, okay, it's starting to sort out in my head now. I think that those of you who have been in no contact with this person, you're going to be tempted to reach out and you shouldn't. For those of you who this person is still presently in your life, you're needing to have a conversation about the things that are not working for you. And I feel like you may be hesitant to do so because you know how people are, you know, it's like you try to come and communicate with them like an adult and they either dismiss you or they basically flip it around on you, you know, and try to make it seem like, oh, you always want to argue when really all you're trying to do is have a discussion. So I think that might be necessary this week. I'm going to pull one more for the King of Wands. So speaking your mind, even if other people may not like it. And that doesn't mean just being an asshole and just, you know, saying whatever's on your mind, obviously. But it's kind of like if situations have been keeping you feeling drained or stuck or defeated, this might be the week that you finally speak up and stand up for yourself. I'm going to pull one more for that King of Wands. Nine of Wands. Yeah, whoever this person was, for those of you who this applies to love or could be friendship too, just anyone who just kind of have made you feel invisible in some way or who did not appreciate you or they took you for granted. I feel like this person coming up as the Nine of Wands is a very clear sign that they're also wounded. And so that's why they behave the way they do. Obviously, I mean, hurt people hurt people. So I think in this week, it's just a lot of energy I'm getting a lot of messages at one time. So in this week, like I said, you may feel the need to stand up for yourself. You may be tempted to go back to a past situation, which I would advise you not to do. And I think that the way you should resolve this, like if you're having internal conflict about people from your past who have not treated you well, I think the way to resolve this is to kind of remind yourself that hurt people, and it's not an excuse for their behavior, but it does kind of help to sort of set you free. I would say it works for me. Like whenever I stop and think about why a person does something they do, I'm never like, okay, they did this and that's an excuse and therefore it's fine what they did. That's not the case at all. It's more so just me being like, okay, what they did was very painful to me. It wasn't fair. And this person is clearly a very wounded, hurt person. So I can kind of forgive and let go. Now, on the flip side of this, if you are not the Queen of Cups and you are the King of Wands and you're leaving someone behind, I feel as though, let me pull one more for that Queen of Cups. I feel as though it may be necessary because with the Nine of Wands being there is some healing that definitely needs to take place. And it's like impossible for this healing to take place when these people are interacting with each other. I really hope this reading is not confusing. It's slightly confusing me a little bit, but I kind of am following. So just take whatever messages resonate, like just grab onto them, hold onto them. And the ones who, in the messages that don't resonate, just kind of let them go. But like I said, if you are this King of Wands person and someone else is Queen of Cups, you could be moving away from someone else in order to heal. Let me pull one more for this Queen of Cups. Ten of Swords, yeah. It's like a situation or ending that was kind of brewing, but for some reason both people were holding on or one person was holding on. This could talk about like a fear of endings, like not ending things just because you're scared of having to start over or just because you're comfortable and you're like, okay, I don't want this to end because this is familiar to me. Even though it's not helping me grow, it's familiar to me and I don't feel right without it. But usually when that happens, the universe does step in and causes things to kind of fall apart in order for you to separate. And this doesn't have to just be like romantic. Like I said, it can be friendships. It could be anything in life where we are afraid, like we're so stuck in our comfort zone that we're afraid of anything happening or we're afraid of endings. It's like eventually something's going to happen to have to push you out of your comfort zone because life is all about cycles. You know, it's like we have to keep on going through the cycles. We can't stay stuck in one cycle forever. And sometimes we can do that, especially if we are very comfortable. You know, human beings are creatures of habit. We enjoy stability. So when we're comfortable, we want to stay there, even if it's in a very harmful situation. So some of you are just moving forward this week, which is a good thing. The Ace of Wands, I think I'm gonna, let me collect these because it's just kind of bothering me with them being on the spread. The Ace of Wands being here, like I said before, some of you could feel very sluggish, could feel slightly lazy, maybe needing to push yourself a little bit harder. Don't burn yourself out, of course. But I feel like some of you, what I'm hearing is that some of you don't understand that whenever you tell yourself you're going to do something and you don't do it, you're actually lowering your self-esteem and you are actually damaging the relationship you have with yourself. So it's kind of like when someone tells you, oh, I'm going to do something, and then they never follow through and you're just like, oh my God, whatever. Like, I don't even expect anything from this person anymore. I feel like you've kind of developed that type of relationship with yourself. So there may be a need to rebuild trust with yourself. And basically what you do, or how you do that, is you start by setting small goals and accomplishing those goals every day and then working your way up to bigger goals. See what I'm saying? So it doesn't overwhelm you. And every time you accomplish a goal that you set, no matter how small it is, you start to rebuild that confidence and you also start to rebuild that trust within yourself. With the Two of Swords being here, I feel like some of you are going to be heavily in touch with your intuition this week. It's like you're not seeing certain things, but you are feeling them intuitively. And you're needing to trust your intuition this week. Because whatever it is that your intuition is guiding you towards, it's the right way or it's the right path is what I'm hearing. But you might not see it. So some of you may be asked to take like a leap of faith this week or step out on a limb. It's like some of you are very used to only taking action when it's calculated. Like, okay, I'm going to take action when I know for a fact things are going to go a specific way. And sometimes you don't have that luxury is what I'm hearing. Like sometimes in life, you are not going to know what's going to happen next. But you're going to have to follow your intuition and take that risk anyway. Obviously, be smart about this. Don't go and do something, reckless. Just, what am I hearing? Because I'm hearing that it's something that you need to step out of your comfort zone, but it's not that drastic. So keep that in mind. I just keep hearing it's not that drastic. So if it's something drastic that came to mind when I said you need to take a leap of faith, I'm not talking about that. It's something that's small, but it's going to lead to a big change. I really hope that makes sense. That message just confused me. Oh my God. It's like a small risk that's going to lead to a big change is what I'm hearing. So it's not a life-threatening risk. It's something that is uncomfortable, but it's not life-threatening. I hope that made sense. Let me pull one more. Your intuition is definitely guiding you in the right direction. I'm trying to see if I can hear an analogy with that or like some type of example. See, this example is so extreme. I don't even know why. Okay, I'm just going to say it. The messages that come through are so strange sometimes. Okay, so when I say take a risk and I say it's not going to be that drastic, basically what I'm hearing is like it's not something like jumping off of a cliff. You said that's so drastic. That's so dramatic. Of course, that message will come through to me. It's not something like jumping headfirst, diving over a cliff. It's something more along the lines of like, there's these two jobs that I got offered and, I had to choose one or the other. And I know I'm going to be there long term, no matter which way I go. So I have to make the right choice. And you don't know exactly how either one is going to pan out, but your intuition is leading you towards one specific one, and then you need to follow your intuition and go that way, and it's going to lead to a major change. You see what I'm saying? It's like a risk where it's like it's not that risky, but at the same time it's still a risk because you don't know how things are going to play out and you're being asked to use your intuition. Okay, I hope that made sense. Oh my God, that example was so extreme. So the Knight of Pentacles is also here in reverse. Yeah, this is definitely for the group of you who are going to be tempted to reach out to someone and you're being advised not to. And if you have been feeling like an addiction towards this person, I feel like you're really going to need to be strong this upcoming week because I just feel like this very strong pull towards someone who you kind of know isn't good for you. And you're needing to kind of fight that urge the best way you know how, which can be very difficult. Like it can be very difficult to resist the urge to reach out to someone who you are emotionally tied to or emotionally connected with, especially if that person is still thinking about you. And it's like when they're thinking about you, they're sending an energetic signal to you and then you start thinking about them. Very difficult when you have a spiritual tie with someone. Let me pull one more for that Knight of Pentacles. 5. Yeah, a lot of it's going to be internal conflict. I'm reading that as internal conflict. Like you just kind of fighting with yourself. Like which direction should I go in? Or your feelings can be very up and down about a specific person or a specific situation, and you're needing to not take action. Because when you take action when you're confused and conflicted about something or someone, it usually just doesn't end well. You know, when it comes to intuition, your intuition will never leave you feeling confused or conflicted. Intuition is very kind of clear cut. It's very like quiet. That's why usually you can't hear intuition unless you are alone or meditating. That's when you really hear your intuition. It's very quiet. It's not really loud or pushy. Fear, conflict, confusion, that's what's really loud and pushy. And it's very difficult to follow your intuition when you have that energy within you. So you're needing to really calm yourself and clear your mind in order to hear your intuition. And you're needing to not make any drastic decisions based off of internal conflict or external conflict. Because this could talk about like you being in conflict with other people as well. And it's just kind of leaving you in the state of confusion. And it's very hard to move forward when you are in that conflicted state of mind. So the two cards that I pulled from the Sacred Rebels Oracle deck is the Going Beyond Normal card and the Trust Yourself card. Okay, Going Beyond Normal. This is for those of you who, like I said before, have some sort of task that you're supposed to be completing or some sort of goal that you've been wanting to go towards, and you are fearful of doing so, and you're needing not to be fearful is what I'm hearing. Like you can be fearful, but you have to remind yourself that the difference between people who live the life that they truly enjoy and want and the people who kind of settle for life is literally just making the decision to do something different. So if you make the decision to do something different from what everyone else is doing, you're going to get better results than everyone else. You see what I'm saying? It's like when you want to be extremely successful in a certain field and nobody that you know is successful in that field, but somehow they think they can give you advice about it or they can warn you about certain things, and you're just like, how the hell would you even know this? Like, it's like, okay, I'm not saying that you have to completely ignore anybody's advice unless they have gotten to where you need to go, but I do feel like some of you are around people who you feel like you're supposed to be doing something very special, and they could kind of remind you all the time, like, you know, of the dangers of it, or the possibility of failing, things of that sort. Even if they're not doing it maliciously, you could just have people around you who are just very pessimistic because they don't feel like they're elevating. So when you start to express your ideas that are kind of like, you know, big and that's going to take you to the next level, they can just start to be very pessimistic the same way they are towards themselves. And they can sort of talk you out of it or try to point out ways in which things could go wrong, something along those lines. But you're needing to, like I said, keep your eye on the prize, because some of you know deep down inside that you're supposed to be doing something way bigger and better in life. And I feel like in your surroundings, no one else has accomplished this. So you could be like first generation, you know, accomplishing something. Like, you know, like the first generation college kids who none of their family has gone to college and they're the first one, things like that. It's like some of you are really leveling up in a way that no one in your family ever has, or like none of your community or your neighbors. It's like none of them have done this or accomplished this. So sometimes it can seem impossible, but intuitively, you know you're supposed to be doing it. See what I'm saying? You know you're supposed to be, even though your surroundings say otherwise. And I think that's why the intuition card, the Two of Swords, came up, because some of you, like, it's like your intuition is screaming at you. Well, it's nudging you, I should say. And you're using your two eyes instead of your intuition. So it's kind of like what Will Smith once said in one of his interviews. He was saying that, like, when it comes to success, you have to be sort of delusional, because when you look around and you see that no one has made it, like no one that you know is really successful, you could easily just say, okay, well, I'm looking around and what I'm surrounded by is people who have settled. So, I mean, realistically, I'm probably going to end up just like them because we are who we hang around, right? But that's reality. Now you have to warp your reality. You kind of have to delude yourself into saying, even though this is how my surroundings look right now, I know I'm onto bigger and better things, and be able to visualize bigger, better things. See what I'm saying? And then go after them. So regardless of what you're seeing right now, trust your intuition and take action towards what you are being guided towards. Now, 31, Trust Yourself, came out as well. So basically, this Trust Yourself card to me looks like you have the answers and you don't know that you do. I think that you're looking for a lot of answers outside of yourself, and everything that you need to know, you already possess. I feel like a lot of you have learned a great amount of lessons, and it's almost like you don't acknowledge your own growth or your own wisdom. because you could still be thinking or doubting yourself because you could have made mistakes in the past. Maybe you've chose the wrong partner, just maybe you've made bad, poor decisions. But what you're not understanding is that through those decisions, you have gained a lot of wisdom and knowledge. So you don't have to fear repeating those decisions. Like sometimes when we make a bad choice and it turns out horribly, it can kind of freeze us. Like, okay, I'm not making any more moves. I'm not making any more decisions because look at what happened last time. When in reality, we were meant to make that decision in order for us to learn and grow from it. So then when we face a similar situation, we can now handle that similar situation in a different way. But some people don't see it that way. They see it as I failed once. I failed at this task or at this relationship once. And so I'm not going to try it again, which is a waste because then you went through that situation for no reason. You obtained that knowledge for no reason if you're just going to stay stuck and never take risks again. You know what I'm saying? So some of you just really need to keep that in mind. Like you really need to trust yourself more, build that trust with yourself, acknowledge that everything that you need, you have to create the life for yourself that you want. And then with, like I said, with going beyond the normal, you need to do the things that people do when they have succeeded in what you want to succeed at, you know? So you can't do the same thing that everyone else is doing and then expect different results, okay? And you can't do the same things that have been harming you and expect different results either. So sometimes going beyond the normal isn't just breaking free from societal norms, but it's also breaking free from your own patterns and your own habits. I want to read from the guidebook for that Trust Yourself card. Okay. Let's see, 31, trust yourself. Okay, it says, you are wise. You know how to grow even without knowing how you know. Like the ancient forests, spectacular galaxies, and the acorn that becomes the oak, there is a natural intelligence for growth that is beyond logic and reason. It just happens. At the deepest levels, we are governed by this force that is so palpable, it literally shapes the world. At the same time, it is so invisible that sometimes we forget its presence and worry that our minds have to work everything out for life to happen and for us to be all right. We can become unnecessarily anxious about our affairs and how life will unfold. This oracle brings the message that you are growing. Don't doubt it, even if you don't see it yet. Remember that so much is happening when the seed is still unbroken in the ground. Below the earth, it is summoning up all the might, power, and force it needs to push above the topsoil and burst up into the light. It is essential for anything good to happen later on, yet we don't see any of that. We just have to trust that things will happen when the time is right. Okay, so that is it, guys. I hope that this was helpful. I am about to post the Twin Flame Soulmate reading as well, so it should be up right after this one. So again, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in my next video.